Hey everyone, this is Lei, and welcome to the Eye on Asia podcast, where we talk about market research and trends in Asia. Today, I'm with Joko, and we're currently recording here in Manila to bring you our fourth episode.
Hello, everyone. Today is March 4, the day of recording. If you're interested to know about market research trends in Asia, then we hope you like the topics we'll discuss here. This episode is brought to you by dataSpring SurveyOn, one of Southeast Asia's biggest panel websites. Let's begin the show with our Asian news feature. Today, we'll be discussing a commentary on how the ASEAN region is on track to become the fourth largest economy in the world. Of Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership, or RCEP, and digital transformation will drive inclusive growth and development in the region. We'll also check how public-private partnerships will be the keys to ASEAN's sustainable, resilient, and green future. The title of the article is ASEAN is poised for post-pandemic inclusive growth and prosperity. Here's why. The date is January 19, 2022. The author is Ju Ok Lee, and this was from the Jakarta Post. The COVID-19 pandemic caused global investment activities to fall due to economic uncertainties, lockdowns, supply chain disruptions, and postponement of investment by multinational enterprises. ASEAN also recorded a decline in foreign direct investment, or FDI, in 2020. To $137 billion, down from its highest ever inflow of $182 billion in 2019, when it was the largest recipient of FDI in the developing world. Despite the decline, ASEAN remained an attractive investment destination. The region's share of global FDI rose from 11.9% in 2019 to 13.7% in 2020, while the intra-ASEAN share of FDI in the region increased from 12% to 17%. And the future looks bright. According to the first of its kind ASEAN Development Outlook, or ADO report, the total combined GDP of 10 ASEAN countries in 2019 was valued at $3.2 trillion, making ASEAN the fifth largest economy in the world, well on track to become the fourth largest by 2030. With a total population of about 700 million people, 61% are under the age of 35, and the majority of young people are embracing digital technologies into their daily activities. ASEAN members took coordinated actions to respond to pandemic challenges, such as the Hanoi Plan of Action on strengthening ASEAN economic cooperation and supply chain connectivity in response to the COVID-19 pandemic. Members collaborated on the flow of essential goods and enhanced the resilience of its supply chains and sourcing in the region. The ASEAN-led Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership, or RCEP agreement, came into force on the 1st of January 2022 for Australia, Brunei Darussalam, Cambodia, China, Japan, Laos, New Zealand, Singapore, Thailand, and Vietnam. With it, ASEAN resolves to keep markets open while strengthening regional economic integration towards post-pandemic inclusive recovery. RCEP is the biggest regional free trade agreement in existence and will cover 30% of global GDP and 30% of the world population, in addition to accounting for over 1/4 of global trade in goods and services. The recent adoption of the Consolidated Strategy on the Fourth Industrial Revolution, or 4IR, for ASEAN during the 38th and 39th ASEAN Summits and the ASEAN Agreement on Electronic Commerce will advance the region's push for digital transformation and private investment in digital infrastructure development, or 5G networks and data centers. Cloud computing, cybersecurity, artificial intelligence, and smart manufacturing. The ASEAN Comprehensive Recovery Framework, or ACRF, identified digital connectivity as a priority to facilitate regional connectivity and economic recovery. The Forum's Center for the Fourth Industrial Revolution Network, which brings stakeholders together to maximize the benefits of technology while reducing potential risks, has shown that public-private cooperation is instrumental for business and government to develop cooperative ecosystems to advance digital transformation and innovation. Governments have an important role in incentivizing investments in research and development, while the private sector will drive Industry 4.0 transformation through investing in digitalization of manufacturing, using advanced manufacturing solutions, building smart factories, and establishing R&D facilities, technology hubs, and centers of excellence in the region. A green future does not only benefit the well-being of the next ASEAN generation, but is also good for ASEAN economically, boosting the region's competitiveness in attracting green FDIs to address new climate-related investment and trade measures adopted by developed economies. ASEAN has shown a strong commitment towards climate change and global sustainability efforts. Several initiatives support ASEAN's sustainable ambitions, including the Global Plastic Action Partnership in Indonesia and Vietnam. Lay, there's hope for the ASEAN countries to not only recover from the pandemic, but also to become one of the biggest economies in the world. Do you think that's possible?
I think if the manufacturing industry in the region continues to improve, the ASEAN region will soon emerge as one of the biggest economies. One good example is Vietnam, which has become a global manufacturing hub. It has grown to become the second biggest supplier of footwear and apparel to the US after China. It is now one of Asia's key manufacturing hubs and produces goods for some of the biggest Western brands in tech, garments, and sportswear. I believe its neighbors will soon become equally competitive and will generate more investments in the future.
I agree. And on top of that, I think the youth sector of the ASEAN region, which are early adopters when it comes to emerging digital technology, will really lead the way when it comes to innovation and profitable growth. Being tech savvy is one of the key factors to consider for any nation to aspire to become one of the biggest economies in the world. I hope to see the day when ASEAN countries will finally become first world countries. Our episode is brought to you by dataSpring Surveyon. Since 2014, Surveyon served as the recruitment platform for the Asia-Pacific region, covering Taiwan, Hong Kong, Singapore, Thailand, Malaysia, Indonesia, Vietnam, and the Philippines. With an attractive incentive system for respondents and frequent updates and checks, researchers are assured of quality responses from panelists across the region. Visit surveyon.com for more details.
We have a section in Surveyon, our panel website for Southeast Asia, where we post different questions targeted to thousands of respondents across Asia. Today, we'll be highlighting a question that I think many of us are curious about.
That's right. We asked 2,321 of our panelists in Southeast Asia if they are planning to go out of town in 2022. And here are their answers. 44% or 1,023 votes said that yes, they plan to travel domestically, while 32% or 747 panelists said no, they have no plans. And 23% or 551 participants said that yes, they plan to travel internationally.
Many of our Asian respondents have plans to travel domestically. I think one of the factors why most are inclined to travel domestically is to visit their relatives within the country after a long time of being locked down in their cities.
I agree. Or maybe people would also want to spend some time out of town for a vacation without fearing being stopped at border control or in another country's airport for further international travel requirements.
Well, any travel these days would require a lot of preparations and could even take months ahead of time just to be sure that you have every requirement with you. Here in the Philippines, even traveling by land or sea would also require people to present documents, such as vaccine cards and a negative result of swab test. But for many, this won't be much of a hassle as it could be a way for them to see their family again or to simply spend a memorable holiday with their loved one. Don't you think?
Yes, the destination and the moments with people you love, or even if it's a trip alone, will make any preparation worth it, as long as it's secure and safe for everyone's health. This is just one of the many surveys posted on Quick Poll on surveyon.com. You can follow us on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter to catch our weekly Quick Poll survey highlights coming in from our survey platforms across the Asia Pacific region, Surveyon in Southeast Asia, Panel Now in Korea, and Zanli in China. If you'd like to create or try a Quick Poll survey, feel free to visit our websites, surveyon.com, panelnow.co.kr, and zanli.com. If you'd like to set up a more comprehensive survey, then you can contact us through our website, dataspring.com. That's D8ASpring.com.
We're now at our Q&A segment where we entertain some of the most frequently asked questions on the dataSpring website. We get a lot of questions about what we do in the MR industry, so here's an opportunity for us to answer them one by one. We hope to answer all of the questions, but we'll take them a handful at a time per episode.
Yes, let's check some of the questions. According to Inda, her question is, my friends and I want to take part as panelists. How can we join? The answer is, we actually have websites where you can register and take part as a panelist. Surveyon.com if you're in Southeast Asia, panelnow.co.kr if you're in Korea, or Zanli if you're in China. We don't have panel websites for the other regions, but we'll gladly refer you to other websites if you need assistance. Our second question is from Lucien. His question, do you have a medical panel? Yes, we do. We have medical panelists classified by job title and by doctor's specialty. We also have medical panelists classified by current ailment, past ailment, and smoking status. Send us your inquiry details and our team can help you complete your project.
And those are the two questions from our Q&A segment. If you have any questions for dataSpring, just feel free to send them to contact@dataspring.com. Again, that's contact@d8aspring.com, or post them on our LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter accounts, and we'll gladly answer them.
Now let's proceed to our next segment, where we share valuable and effective market research studies, tips, and tricks.
Today, we'll be sharing 6 basic question types that can help improve the most important part of your market research survey. There are many ways to ask a question, and depending on how you put it together in the survey, it may influence how people respond to the questions. And here are the basic question types you can use in online survey tools and corresponding response format. Number 1, single answer. This allows your respondent to select only one answer for a question, giving specific results according to what fits their preference from a less time-consuming format. It can be displayed through a radio button or drop-down menu.
Number 2, multiple answer. A multiple answer question is usually displayed as checkboxes. It's ideal for multiple response categories where concepts do not overlap and should not be used to gather numeric data.
Number 3, matrix question. These are a set of multiple questions presented on a grid. This provides an effective way to condense your survey or to group similar items into one question. The variation of this question type is Likert or bipolar.
Number 4, open-ended. This question allows respondents to enter alphanumeric responses in an open-ended answer field. This is a good format to discover relevant issues or to obtain a full range of responses that will allow you to explore respondents' in-depth views.
Number 5, number type. This question type allows the respondent to enter a numeric value in an open-ended answer field, where dollar amounts, zip codes, telephone numbers, and the like are some of the kinds of data that can be collected.
Number 6, semantical differential. This question is a rating scale that asks respondents' position on a scale between two bipolar stances. It's the most reliable way to get information on people's emotional attitude towards a topic of interest. These are the tips and tricks we offer you and your project. You may also find these tips and tricks in our blog at dataspring.com/blog if you want to read more about them.
We're now at the end of our podcast episode, and we'd like to leave you with a quote. This one comes from the American computer programmer Daniel Keys Moran. Quote, "You can have data without information, but you cannot have information without data." Unquote. That's all we have for our episode. We hope you like what we talked about.
We're planning to release more episodes soon. If you have some questions or proposed market research projects, you can email them to contact@dataspring.com, or you can visit our website, dataspring.com. That's DASPRING.com. Our sales teams are available 24/7 to answer all your questions. You can also check out our social media for our latest updates. Just type in DataSpring in the search bars on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter.
We look forward to setting up more episodes for you. Bye for now.